Hey there, Griff Hammond here from Blues Guitar Unleashed. Welcome. Thanks for joining me in today's video. We're going to talk about what I believe to be one of Stevie Ray Vaughan's most awesomest songs. It's Couldn't Stand the Weather. I'm not going to teach you the whole song. There's a whole lot that goes on in this song, but the particular thing that I want to talk about is this sort of fast 16th note, almost funky type of groove. There are so many cool elements of Stevie Ray Vaughan's playing, both I'll say from a rhythmic standpoint and from a lead standpoint. If you can do this stuff and make it sound convincing, I can't speak today, but if you can make it sound convincing, you really can get a handle on a lot of different things about Stevie's playing. So let's kind of start to break it down. I'm going to count it out also. I'm going to be very, very specific about this, and I really want to encourage you to do the same. 16th notes are very challenging. I've worked with a lot of students recently where they can count eighth notes, but 16th notes are where things really, really break down. And if you play a lot of blues and do a lot of triplets, again, you don't work with 16th notes a lot. So I hope you will take advantage of this opportunity to really start to put some of this stuff together. The way we count 16th notes is 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and so we're breaking each beat into 4 pieces. The beginning of this is actually a rest. 1E and is a rest. Now, one thing I should tell you is that I am tuned to E flat. So it's E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B flat, E flat, just like the original recording. I don't usually play it this way. I just bring everything down a fret and I play it in standard tuning. You can absolutely do that. So I'm going to play it here at the 10th fret and the 13th fret. If you want to play it at the 9th and 12th, it's really not going to sound any different, to be honest. As far as I can tell, it's pretty much the same. And certainly for our purposes in this lesson, it's not going to matter. So we're going to start with getting these 2 notes and no others. And this, again, is a big part of Stevie's playing. So I got my pinky on the 13th fret of the top string. My first finger is on the 10th fret of the 3rd string. But I want to be able to scrape at least the top 4 or 5 strings, only getting those notes. My right hand's going to be very busy. It can't do any muting. My left hand is doing all of the muting work. My first finger does a really good job of leaning across the 2nd string. My pinky grabs the top string. My middle finger is kind of grabbing those low couple of strings for me, the 4th and the 5th string, so that I can get 1E and 2E and 3E. Again, 2E and 3E. Notice that last E, I come up, but I don't strike anything. Okay, 1E and 2E and 3E and. Now, when I hit that and, I'm going to get the 10th fret on the 2nd and the 3rd string. And you'll see there's a little tiny dot over it, which means it's going to be quick. It's going to be staccato. So I'm not going to let it hold. But when I play that, this is a weird thing. If you're more of a beginning player, you're going to think this is really bizarre. For me to mute the 4th string and the 1st string while pushing on the 2nd and 3rd string, but my finger is absolutely doing that. My middle finger, again, is laying across to mute at least the 5th string and maybe even help with the 4th string in case I missed. No 1st string, 2nd and 3rd, no 4th, no 5th. So I get 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E. And notice 4E, I just relax and get the X's. So again, 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and. Now I'm getting the 12th fret on the top 2 strings. You may get the top string, it may come out a little bit. You'll notice I'm barring it with my 3rd finger. I don't want it to come out, but it might, and that's not the end of the world. So again, 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and 1. Okay, and again, Notice these fingers laying behind. I can strum every string, but I only get the ones I want. Okay? That's the key to make this work. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and. So on that E, I come back to the 10th fret and I'm using an up strum. And notice that it's not a bunch of stuff. It's just the two notes I want. On the and, I'm going to hit the 12th fret on the 4th string all by itself. How do I do that? Because these other fingers are laying across the other strings, keeping them muted. I can't even begin to tell you what a huge part of Stevie Ray Vaughan's playing this is, and what a huge part of almost all blues players and classic rock players. Like, everybody does this all the time. It's really important. So it's always a hard leap to go from, I'll say being a beginner where you try so hard, to only push the strings that you want to push. And now I'm telling you to lay your fingers flat and mute all this stuff out. And that's a really hard shift to make, but it's a very important one. So again, so far we're at 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and should have hit that note, sorry. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and Now please go very slow. If you have a really hard time counting with this, if it's 1 E, 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and if that's what it's got to be, if it's got to be even slower than that, still go as slow as you have to go to count out loud. You will have a terrible, terrible time trying to play this at real speed with a real band if you don't know when the notes are supposed to happen. And if you've followed any of my teaching, I talk about counting all the time. You don't have to read the music. You don't have to do anything fancy. Just do what I do, say what I say. It'll work out. I promise. Okay? Here we go. One more time. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and then we have a little hammer on. So I'm going to strike. I'm pushing at the 10th fret across the 3rd and 4th strings. But again, nothing else rings out. I do a hammer on. So 2 E. Notice that even though I do a hammer on, I still bring my hand up. And now, this next thing is a 10 down here, which he probably does with his thumb, because he used to play with his thumb over the top all the time. I will admit that sometimes I don't catch this note. I do more of just a scrape. I think it's fine to do it either way, personally. It's really subtle on the recording. So if you want to turn that 10 on the 6th string into more of just some X's, I think that's absolutely okay, and I don't think it'll hurt the overall effect. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. So at the end there, we have 3, again that low D, or just some X's. Then I'm going to grab again with my 3rd finger the 3rd and 4th strings, 12th fret, a waka, right? A couple more. So it's 3 E and 4 E and So I'm going to do the 2 12s and then again the hammer on from the 10 to the 11 on the 3rd string, holding the 10th fret on both of those strings, just like I do earlier on beat 2. Okay, so we're going to do, and that's going to come back again. In the second half of this riff, almost everything we're doing here is going to come back again. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 and 4 E and Okay, and again, please take this in little bitty pieces. Play what you can, that you can count it out loud. Keep doing the part that you can do, and then add one more note, and add one more note, and add one more note. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E. And then when we continue on from there, so we're going to pull off from the 12 to the 10 on the 4th string, 1 E and down to the 12th fret on the 5th string, 1 E and 2 E and 3 E. So this is we have a nice little break right here. We have the waka on 2 E, and then we hit the 10th fret of the 4th string on the and 3 E, and we hit the 12th fret. Notice that I keep my right arm moving at this really slow pace. Really slow pace. I don't know if that's going to always be so obvious, but watch as I kind of play the whole thing. Watch my arm continue to go. 1, 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 and 3 E and 4 E. We're going to get those 2 low 10th fret again with the thumb. Or I think it would be fine again to, if you can't get it, I wouldn't worry about it. Make them X's. Again, very subtle on the recording. So let's just do this measure. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and notice we're doing that move again. The 10th fret on the 3rd and 4th string with the hammer on to the 11th fret on the 3rd string. Same as we did before, and it's going to hold through 1 E of the next bar. So altogether, 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 and 4 E and 1 E and again, get that low D or a waka, one or the other. Then bar the 12th fret. It's just 2 E and that's across the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th strings. Do you have to get all 3 of them? I don't think it's going to be that particular. You could get just the 2nd and 3rd and be fine. But it's 2 E and 3 E and. Again, that low note and the upper notes. Or honestly, with the band, they're going to kind of play, they're going to come across the same way. Let's do just as much again. 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and again the 12s, and then 4 E and that's 12s, 10s, 12 on the 4th string, 10 on the 4th string, 4 E and that's kind of a really good, almost microcosm of everything you've got to do. Because in every instance, I'm hitting a whole bunch of strings. But I'm only getting the one that I want to hear. You'll notice my right hand, again, keeping that really big motion. Let's do it all together nice and slow. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and okay, again, I'll try and pick it up just a little bit. 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and of course, as we get it a little bit more up to speed, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a course, you would repeat that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Now, what you're going to notice is that as the speed increases, as you get closer and closer to the full speed. Now, I'm not talking slow speeds. This is going to be, 80, 90% of full speed. You might occasionally hit an extra string, miss a string, only hit one note when you meant to hit it twice. There are subtle little things that happen on a very, very regular basis when you play in this style at those higher tempos. Don't hold yourself to too high of a standard where that kind of thing is concerned. It's okay. You could listen to probably 4 different Stevie Ray Vaughan live recordings of him playing this song, and no two would be exactly the same. Now, in the original recording, he does play this riff 4 different times, and there are subtle variations. And in fact, throughout the song, it's more than 4. But at the top of the song, he plays it through 4 times. There are subtle variations every time through. I'm not really necessarily all that interested in you learning it note for note perfectly, just like the record. However, if you can play this, if you can count through this, and you can do it properly, and you can do it in time, and you can do it correctly, the tab to the whole song is readily and easily available. Go grab it, it'll be easy. If you can't do this, all the tab in the world won't help you. So this is the 80% of this song. The rest of it is not nearly as difficult. Okay, so keep that in mind. Spend some time with this lesson. If you're like, hey, I really want to learn that song, I love that song, great. Do this lesson until you can do it perfectly, in time, counting, the whole deal. When you can do that, you're going to learn. That might take you a month, right? Let's say it takes you a month. You'll be able to learn the rest of the song in a week. Like, it'll be that quick. This is the crux of the song. Okay, so as always, if you have guitar playing friends that you think would dig this video, I hope you will share it with them and have some fun with it. Right? This is, like I said, one of my favorite all-time songs. I've played this with my band hundreds of times over the years. We absolutely love playing it. It's always a good time. So I hope you will try it for yourself, and I will see you next time. I'm Griff Hamlin from Blues Guitar Unleashed. Take care.